Hello everyone and welcome back to Miss Trout. As you can see here, the sun is setting and I've done a lot of work. Spawn is over in that direction toward the sun. As you can see here, I built a lot of things here. The outline of the tower, a number of other structures. As night's falling, I'll need to retreat back inside, but first I'll show here what I was talking about, the hemp. You can see here's its first stage and its second stage. You can just break off the top part and collect it. And over there is the weed and the chicken farm bit here. I'll show this real quick. It doesn't always drop hemp seeds, but so after having been playing a lot in this world, digging down quite deeply, I finally managed to collect diamonds. This is part of the clip that here I dug into. And so what I'm going to show here at this stage is I'm building a windmill. And as you can see, I've collected quite a bit of hemp here. And I'm going to be building the windmill. Now, I've already ground up enough of this to make the windmill, so I'll show that off here real quick. First I'll need to make some oak planks. So what happens is you get hemp fibers by grinding up hemp that you saw in the millstone, which produces these hemp fibers, 4 per hemp. As you can see there, if you put them in this formation, you'll get rope, and in this formation, you'll get fabric. Now, fabric is used for a number of things. It's mostly, primarily it's used for sails for windmills, and it's also used later for making canvas, which is sort of a bigger painting type thing. Okay. Now the trick is we're going to need 24 pieces of fabric for this, because each windmill requires 6 pieces of fabric. So this is pretty hefty. But once you've built your windmill, you don't have to spend all night grinding using the hand crank, which is really slow and eats up your hunger pretty quickly. Because each time you crank, you'll lose a bit of hunger. And nope, almost. Now what I have here is actually roughly a stack of hemp. So 64 hemp ground up into these fibers. So typically I find I need approximately, to grind up a full stack of hemp to get the materials I need. So to make the actual windmill, need to, yeah, that's good enough. I need 4. I'll need 4 sails, so this up here, basically the wooden beam at the bottom along with the fabric. So I'll need 4 sails, and then you place the sails in this arrangement here, and it gives you a windmill. There's the windmill. Now, I'll also need to make some gearboxes and some axles. Gearboxes and axles are the means of transporting mechanical power. And kind of like, comparable in some ways to redstone, but a bit more complex because you work with them 3-dimensionally, really. Let's see. What do I need? I'll need some gears. Add a little bit more wood here. And I happen to find a dungeon and get 2 redstone, even though I haven't collected any actual redstone directly. So what I'll do here is I'll go ahead and make a gearbox so you can see what that looks like, along with also making some axles. So first, of course, you have the outside parts of the box, the gears themselves, and then a bit of redstone in the middle. And you've got the gearbox. One rope in the middle between 2 planks produces your first axle. Now, you can have up to 3 axles between then you'll need another gearbox. If you try to put down a 4th axle and power is running through the axles, then the 4th, whatever excess axles will break, and you'll end up with a few hemp fibers and sticks, and you'll lose the axle. Similarly, you have a gearbox, so you need to use these gearboxes. Now, you need to use gearboxes. Now you'll notice one side here has arrows to it. What happens is you put the axle here next to it, and you'll have a power source, in this case say your windmill out here, and power has to go into the box from one side. So wherever the power is flowing from that turning windmill or water mill, it'll go down these axles and then to the power box, and it has to go in this way. You can actually rotate it by right-clicking if you have nothing in your hand, which lets you rotate it if you didn't place it exactly right to get it in the right position. Now after that, you can put axles on other sides of this to continue to transmit the power, like so. Let's see if it's, and still night. Now obviously I'm going to need to grind more hemp in order to get more materials. Now what happens is gearboxes do not transmit power between themselves directly. You have to have at least one axle between gearboxes, and you have to have a gearbox in order to basically change the direction. So if you have your axles all in a straight line, like and you can rotate axles the same way as you could the box with a right click with nothing in your hand. You have a row of axles going this way. If you put one like above it and it's turned that way, for example, no power will transmit because it's not connected in a connected line. So you need to have at least one gearbox or one axle between each gearbox, and you need to and can have no more than 3 axles before you need another gearbox. This is all kind of intentional because it's used to create a certain kind of feel for the machinery. I'm just going to drop these off here for now. Dump that there. I'm still in the process, so I'm going to be building more of the windmill itself and grinding the hemp. Before I go though, I'll run over here. Make sure there are no mobs following me around. Out of my way, chicken. There we go. As you can see here, I've set this up because I'm going to put the millstone inside here. This is glass, and I've got a cauldron, or not a cauldron, a stewing pot down here, so the water flow goes into it. And I put a trapdoor. This is another nice feature of Better Than Wolves. The trapdoor in Better Than Wolves is made so that it doesn't have to be connected to a block, so you can place it anywhere and it will still work. So this allows you to create little doors like this. And what I've done here is, if I can get up here, I placed this glass around this area here, and I'm going to put the millstone right here in the middle, next to this this block here. It's just, this block's just a placeholder. It's meant to have something so I could put the millstone down there like that, and have axles going up higher to connect to the windmill. Now, what I've got going on down here is a water flow, and this is kind of important. I happen to have some good fortune and found there's a small lake underneath this hill. So I've recovered it to keep mobs from wandering in and doing stupid stuff to it. So I channeled the water flow to here and split the single water flow into two so that they flow in here, and since it's two streams coming together, it creates this nice V-shaped flow setup so that the two outer streams are pushing inward and forward, and the center stream is going to push forward. Because there are two streams on the side but not directly in the middle. So that channels nicely so that anything that flies out of the windmill or out of the millstone is going to hit this glass. I noticed I used solid glass blocks, not panes, because panes would leave a lip and objects will get stuck on the lip. Similarly, I've arranged the door like this, so again, so that objects that fly off the millstone will hit the glass or the wall or the flat surface of the platform and fall down into the water flow to collect it. So this means I can grind stuff and ignore it. So I don't, not only do I not have to use my hand all the time to crank it and produce more, but it will all be nicely collected down here. So I will be back in a little while. Cows. So I'll see you shortly, hopefully with more of the windmill build.